If you were hoping that challenge difficulty would help with leveling in the Elder Scrolls Online, it generally does not. Hey everyone, it's Spopes. The new challenge difficulty system has been out for about a week now in ESO, giving players plenty of time to test it out, see how it does work and how it doesn't. One of the main player anticipations surrounding challenge difficulty would be that it would help with leveling, and under very specific circumstances it can, but generally it does not. In this video, we're going to cover why challenge difficulty generally does not improve the leveling process in the Elder Scrolls Online, and discuss the exceptions to the rule in which it can. We will also go over the general pros and cons of challenge difficulty, and consider whether the system needs to be changed. Before we dive into the video, please like, hype, and subscribe, and consider upgrading your support with a membership, a merch purchase, or a donation. First, a little background on challenge difficulty. This is a new system that was introduced in Update 50 of the Elder Scrolls Online that allows you to adjust the difficulty of overland content. There are 4 levels, including Adventurer, which is no different from the difficulty we've already had, Seasoned, which doubles the damage you take and halves the damage you put out, while also giving you 20% more XP and 50% more gold, Master, which quadruples the damage you take while reducing your damage output by 65%. It also increases your XP gain by 75% and your gold gain by 100%. And then finally, Vestige, which increases the damage you take by 7 times, reduces the damage you put out by 80%, doubles your XP gain, and triples the amount of gold you get. On the face of it, it would seem that putting your difficulty to Vestige and then going through the leveling process as normal would be the call to make here. That is actually what the majority of players anticipated. We thought that challenge difficulty would make leveling a lot easier, which it certainly can under the right circumstances, but it generally will not. Let's get into the reasons why challenge difficulty is generally not helpful with leveling. So first of all, the obvious. When you're at Vestige level, for instance, monsters are really hard to take down and they do a lot of damage to you. So even with getting double XP, it's not worth the effort of trying so hard just to take down a single monster. Vestige is arguably the only challenge difficulty level where the increased XP gain is even worth it, but at Vestige level you are also nerfed so aggressively that solo leveling is basically out of the question. It's not going to be any faster. You might as well just go back down to Adventurer and level the way you always have. Then when it comes to Dolmens, it's a similar story but different situation. At Dolmens and other incursions, only the top 12 damage dealers get XP for monster kills. This means that either you or someone in your group has to be in the top 12 when tagging each monster. If you happen to be running a group with a bunch of people who are also using challenge difficulty, that's extremely unlikely. And if you are just jumping into a Dolmen solo, you are very unlikely to be in the top 12 if you're on Vestige difficulty or even the lower challenge difficulty levels. In essence, you will not get any credit for your work. It won't matter that Vestige gives you double XP because you won't be getting any XP at all. And then for daily activities that give a lot of XP, such as your daily random dungeon, challenge difficulty is not enabled at all. The same goes for PvP activities like Battlegrounds. So you're stuck with the normal amount of XP you'd get from these activities anyway, meaning that challenge difficulty has absolutely no impact on your leveling process. Just to summarize what we covered so far, challenge difficulty is essentially useless when solo leveling, because it takes so much longer to take down monsters, and you're much more likely to die. It's also useless in popular group leveling activities, like Dolmens either here in Auradon or in Alakir, because you have to be in the top 12 damage dealers, and your damage is nerfed so considerably with challenge difficulty. Also, challenge difficulty simply does not apply to some of the largest XP granting activities in the game, meaning that under almost every circumstance, challenge difficulty will be useless for leveling, or actually even worse than useless. It can slow down the leveling process significantly. Now, there is one exception to this rule. Say me and my new werewolf buddy here decide to team up. We're just in a group together, the 2 of us, and say this guy decides to stay on Adventurer difficulty while I go to Vestige. As long as we're reasonably near each other, which we're not now, he's leaving. He's not really my buddy, he's just some random guy, but that was just to illustrate the point. But assuming me and my best friend here are at least kind of close to each other, any kills that he gets will give me XP. And I will get that XP at the increased rate that I get for being on Vestige difficulty. This is literally the one and only exception I can think of for challenge difficulty being good for leveling, but it also is kind of a trashy exploit. It's like power leveling in Diablo 3 or any other game where power leveling is a thing, where basically you just tag along with somebody who levels you up. You're not really participating in the process. You're not contributing or really even learning anything, But technically, if you do just team up with one other person, they're on Adventurer, you're on Vestige, you will get double XP. But really, is double XP even worth it? It'd be another thing entirely if Vestige gave you 3 or 4 times your usual XP rate, but simply 100% added XP gain is not that much. It'll make the process go twice as fast, sure, but you can say the same thing for a major experience scroll, or any event that has double XP, which happen pretty frequently. So sure, you can do power leveling with challenge difficulty if you have someone who wants to help you out, but that's undeniably a kind of scummy or exploity way to level yourself up. And in the end, I don't know if that double XP is even really worth it. Based on the way I've been talking in this video so far, it's natural if you think I hate challenge difficulty or I think it's bad for the game or something, but that's actually not true. I do think some parts of it are kind of silly or it doesn't really fulfill the purposes that we thought it would, but I actually really do like challenge difficulty overall. Personally, I tend to stick in seasoned. I don't really see any reason to go beyond that. But I did find that the increased difficulty in Seasoned was actually a lot of fun, and playing in challenge difficulty can also be quite worthwhile. As I covered in a recent video, there are new achievements under the recent Seasons section that give you some absolutely incredible iridescent dyes for killing monsters on Seasoned challenge difficulty or higher. For my full guide on how to get Anu Whites and all the other challenge difficulty dyes, see the video linked above. But yeah, Anu Whites itself is just incredible, as are all the other dyes. And you can only get these by being in Seasoned challenge difficulty or higher. As I was running around the world of Tamriel getting these achievements, I found that having the difficulty increased was actually really immersion building and just overall a lot of fun. It reminded me of the early days of the game again, where you didn't have to take off all your armor to make the monsters seem challenging. The time I spent hunting down these achievements was actually some of the most fun I've had in ESO in recent years. So the rewards aside, I feel like challenge difficulty is also good for the level of immersion it provides, and how it can improve your enjoyment of the game overall. But just to summarize, challenge difficulty is generally not good for leveling. There is one major exception, yet overall, I really do like challenge difficulty. I think it's a great addition to the game, and it comes with some incredible rewards already, not to mention the fact that there is a challenge difficulty related Golden Pursuit launching later this week, I believe on Thursday. This all leads us to the question, is challenge difficulty good the way it is, or should it be changed? Personally, and after a great deal of consideration, I feel like challenge difficulty is fine the way it is. My main concern was with the rewards, but with these new achievements being added and the new Golden Pursuit coming, it's clear the developers are already looking at ways to make challenge difficulty more rewarding. If you really want to, and you have someone who's complicit with this, you can make challenge difficulty into something like power leveling from other games. So it can be useful for leveling, even though it generally isn't. And personally, I find challenge difficulty to be quite a bit of fun. It has rekindled my love for the game in certain ways. I think it's balanced pretty well. The difficulty levels make sense to me. I honestly can't think of any way this could be changed for the better. One thing players have asked for is that different levels of challenge difficulty be separated into different server instances. However, that's simply not going to happen. First of all, the developers don't want to separate players. This would fragment the player base and make the world seem dead. Also, they simply can't do it. On the back end, the servers simply wouldn't be able to handle that kind of sharding or server separation. It would basically break the game. So ZOS is taking the responsible approach and not even trying to do that. I also think such a move is just generally not necessary. I guess it would solve the power leveling dilemma, but my feeling is if that people want to group up and power level each other, why not? It would kind of ruin the leveling experience for me personally, but I don't see any reason to make it impossible for people to do that. So yeah, my general consensus is that challenge difficulty is fine the way it is. Are there certain tweaks that should probably be made over the long run? Maybe. I can't really identify what they are, but I'm also not saying I'm certain the system is completely flawless right off the get-go. I'm just saying from my personal experience and analysis, I can't think of any specific ways they could improve challenge difficulty right now. It's more rewarding than I thought it would be, and as long as they periodically come out with golden pursuits or tome challenges that incentivize players to use challenge difficulty, I think it's definitely going to be rewarding enough as a system. I also think that server sharding is definitely not the right approach here. It's fine for people in different difficulties to all be working together. So yeah, overall, I'm actually a much bigger fan of challenge difficulty than I thought I would be. Sure, it's useless for leveling except under one specific circumstance, and maybe it's not quite as rewarding as it could be, but by engaging with challenge difficulty, I was able to get my new favorite dyes in the game. It has honestly, for me, been the most rewarding feature they've rolled out in like the last year, at least. So now that I have Anu Whites, I can't really complain about challenge difficulty. I think it served its intended purpose, It may be flawed in some ways. It might not make leveling a breeze unless you team up with somebody on adventure while you're on Vestige, but that's okay with me. In the comments, let us know what you think about challenge difficulty. Is it good as it is? Should it be changed? How do you feel about the power leveling exploit that has emerged with challenge difficulty? Do you think it should be stopped, or is it okay to keep going as it is? Also, do you feel that challenge difficulty is rewarding enough? I personally think it is, but we definitely want to hear your thoughts in the comments. And also, before you go, please remember that my channel is dependent on your support. So please do like, hype, and subscribe if you haven't. And I'd really appreciate it if you became a member of the Spopes Army. Plans are very affordable and come with great perks. Or if you picked up some merch to show the world how much you love Spopes. Or if you'd rather just take the direct approach, you can donate either on Fourth Wall, where I get a bigger cut, or here on YouTube in the form of super thanks. I'm so grateful for the support of my community, but I'm even more grateful to God. So I'm going to finish up as always with a prayer to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Lord, thank you for inspiring Zos to make challenge difficulty and make it so rewarding in all the right ways. Lord, please help guide those players who are disappointed by the lack of leveling utility with this new system. And please guide Zos with your wisdom as they continue to implement changes to challenge difficulty. Lord, I thank you for the ability to make this video today, for putting the breath in my lungs. I thank you for my community and all the providence you've brought me. Lord, please do show your providence and abundance and love and mercy to my entire community and continue to bless my channel and my endeavors here on YouTube. Lord, I thank you for your sacrifice for our sins. Please guide me closer to you. Please show me your wisdom and your way. Let your will be done and not my own. Lord Christ, I give you all glory for this video today and for my channel. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. That's going to do it for the video, everyone. Thanks for watching until the end. Please don't forget to comment with your thoughts on challenge difficulty. And before you go, please do like, hype, and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, turn on notifications, because I'll be back soon with new content.